Boy, what a good first half. 63-62 OKC at the intermission. Good assist to turnover ratio for Sacramento. Guys, we've been talking about Keon Ellis starting for Kevin Huerter, and Jerry, Mike Brown finally made that move tonight. What did you like about that first half?
Well, everything. I just thought that was a beautiful, beautiful half. I mean, both teams played well, but the Kings, really, the ball movement was beautiful. Obviously, that's the kind of basketball we expected to see, and obviously going to need another half that good or better.
Yep, you got a quicker team on the offensive half-court side of the ball. It's a quicker team, and Keon moves better than Kevin moves, which makes the spacing better in the ball movement, as you said, Grant, with the assists.
Of course, with all of that said, the Kings played an excellent half, and they're still trailing by a point, and they played last night. And I'm just wondering if attrition's going to factor into this at all. Let's not kid anybody. This is a really, really, really important game for Sacramento with their upcoming schedule and how poorly they've played. They somehow, some way, they just got to find a way to win this game. This would be huge for them heading out onto the road at Minnesota and an improved Portland team. And then you come home and play San Antonio and Houston, and then you're on the road at Memphis and at San Antonio on a back-to-back. This is a big game.
Well, yeah, and really it could be a signature win because
yes.
There's no question that Oklahoma City is one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the league and a real contender to win the West. And certainly you can see why. So if the Kings, certainly the way they've been playing, close this out and get a win, not just a home win, which is also significant, but to beat a team like this means that you can compete with the best and there's no excuse not to.
Jerry, do you think they're a contender without Chet Holmgren?
Probably not. Getting Hartenstein back at just about the same time really has made up a lot of difference for them. I mean, he's a different player, but he does bring a physical presence at home. But with Holmgren, boy, they're big and athletic and can play a lot of different ways. But yeah, I don't think would win the West without Holmgren.
Ryan, what do you think about the bench now with Malik Monk? I mean, we're still talking about a bench that needs to do better. And Trey Lyles got hurt in that first half. And so you get one, you lose one, even though Lyles has not been playing that well. But you're going to need, we keep talking about this game in and game out, you're going to need more from your bench.
Yeah, you will. It feels like the energy that Malik Monk's giving that second unit and the team as a whole may carry them through tonight if they can come out of the locker room strong. But the change in style, the pick and roll with Sabonis and Monk is not only benefiting the Kings, it's benefiting Sabonis directly. The fact that he has been more active in the half looks more like the team that we're used to. But Jerry, who's the guy outside of Monk that you need to see step up in the second half from the bench?
Well, I think it's Kevin Huerter. Now that he's coming off the bench, you need something from that position. And, it really could benefit not only him, but the Kings. I mean, he'd be going to get some second unit guys. So, you need some points from him. I mean, Monk is going to be Monk. And as you said, really does have his impact on the game. So, you got to get. And then with Trey Lyles, don't know really what the situation is there. I mean, maybe you get something out of Isaac Jones. Certainly it looks like that Coach Brown's got some faith in him. And he certainly, when he goes in there, he's not afraid to play. And I mean, that's a start.
We also have big minutes already for the starters. I mean, you got Murray and Fox with 20, so they're well on their way to 40. And you got to figure that in a game like this, that you have to win against a good team, they're going to play 20 minutes at least in this second half. Sabonis with 18 and DeMar DeRozan with 19. And the reason why I keep bringing that up is Mike Brown talks about it all the time, but yet we keep on seeing the minutes at a very high total.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to cut them down. I mean, if it's hard to sub guys out if you have anybody to sub in that you can count on. And I mean, that's the problem. And right now that's where they are. I think, of course, getting Monk back, that might help a good bit. And then if Huerter could really adjust to his role coming off the bench and give him some productive minutes there, that could really, really help as well. So, but they're still thin. They're thin up front. There's no doubt about that. They're just thin up front with the size factor.
Yeah, bingo. The minutes will reduce when you get production from the bench. Period. End of story. You have somebody step up. That lets Mike Brown give them a little bit of extended play. And who knows? The Kings sometimes have guys that will step up out of character.
But they're going to need to, because we haven't seen it yet, with the exception of a game or two or three. And we're now at a point in the season where you're almost at the quarter pole. So something's going to have to change there. All right. It's now prediction time for you on the stream. Give us the final score. Who do you think is going to win? Rhino, let's start with you tonight.
You know, Grant, I feel like we've seen Oklahoma City almost their best shot. This is them at their best to a degree. If the Kings, where the third quarter is their best quarter by net rating 2.2, can come out and win the quarter, I think they win the game 115 to 111.
I'm right with Ryan there. Maybe it's just my Hoosier optimism coming out, but the Kings really are playing well. He's playing with a lot of confidence. I'm seeing 113, 111, right down to the wire, because OKC is not going away. That's for sure.
And I can't ignore the fact that the Kings played last night and played a lot of minutes. And so this is going to have to be one gutty half. That's the best way I can say it. I think the Kings have to win this game with their schedule upcoming. I think somehow, some way, they will find a way. I think the scoring is going to drop a little bit, though. All right. I think the Kings will have about a 55-point half, and I think they're going to win this game by a point. I think this game comes down to the final possession.
Well, the Kings have got some guys that are awfully good in final possessions for the most part, and Boyd DeMar has just been brilliant here in that first.
Yes, he has.
So but I thought the ball movement and the spacing was extremely good there. That's the best the offense has looked all year, in my opinion, against a really good defensive team.
Best in the NBA. In fact, I think the Thunder, it's been all or nothing. They have either had to make really hard shots or they've been wide open. The Kings have defended well for the most part and made SGA work.
Yeah, the effort's
and
in there.
NBA special, isn't he? Boy, is he good.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, I always said, Paul George made a whole bunch of teams better by leaving. It's amazing. The Pacers got better by getting Sabonis and Oladipo for him, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder got better. And so, yeah, Paul's a hell of a player, but like I say, I don't think it's a coincidence that every team seemed to get better.
Yep. And keep in mind, Dallas won tonight as they get the win. They're now 10-8. Memphis won, and guess what? They're 11-7, and they have Morant back, obviously. So, they're the Kings play them next week on the road. You have a Denver team blown out by the Knicks, and you also had the Clippers blown out at Boston. But Memphis and Dallas won. The Kings need to win this game before they head out onto the road. But there's really nothing not to like in that first half, guys, other than Trey Lyles' injury. That was maybe – I'm trying to think the last time the Kings had a half that good. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's been a while, hasn't it?
I can't. I think they had some awfully good halves, but I'm not sure they've had as good a half against as good a team.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. And to keep in mind, too, is really this Oklahoma City team and Golden State have kind of separated themselves from everybody else in the West. And as you pointed out, the records, Grant, you've got 7 or 8, 9 teams really all bunched together by a game here or there.
And Kevin Durant comes back tomorrow, and so does Bradley Beal. So keep that in mind. If they're able to stay healthy, you saw what happened when they were healthy. They were as good as anybody in the league. So keep an eye on the Phoenix Suns.
Status quo. Keep an eye on everybody in the West, Grant. If people are going down, people are getting healthy. Like, it just doesn't matter. I'm going to call my shot, though, here, gentlemen. With Keon Ellis in the starting lineup, it's getting Keegan Murray more shots. I think this is going to be a really big half for Keegan Murray, and he's going to be the storyline at the end of this game.
That would be good. He needs to be.
Yeah. I thought he played pretty well last night, and he started off terrible, but was playing aggressive, and then certainly you're seeing the outstanding defense again. But Keegan's he's got to become that more consistent 15-point scorer.
He's not shooting the ball well, obviously. Here we are, 3 of 9, 2 of 6 from 3, but the 3 of 9, it's got to get better. I hope you're right, Rhino. He would be able to give this team a huge lift with the critical part of the schedule coming up if he could be the Keegan Murray that we're accustomed to seeing, which we haven't really seen consistently this year. But if that Keegan Murray can come back, boy, what a huge lift that would be for this team. Huge.
changes the way that teams have to guard the Kings. You don't have to. You can't pack it in the way that they have been doing lately, Jerry.
No, that really all he has to do is be a 15, 16 point scorer on about 12 shots. That's really the bottom line. And because he's not probably night to night, not going to get a lot of shots because obviously with DeRozan and Fox and Monk, those guys need shots. And so he has to adjust, but the shots he gets, got to knock them down. You like the aggressiveness on defense, and maybe it's just seeing a little more of it on offense, which is what we need to see.
Ryan, a key that we always talk about, which we haven't talked about as much this season, but I really like it in the first half. And we mentioned it at the beginning of this stream, but the assist to turnover ratio tonight has been outstanding. If they can duplicate that in the second half, the Kings will win this game.
Completely agree, Grant, because not only does that mean that they're getting to the rim for the most part, that means that they're also getting to the free throw line. They're controlling the ball movement. They're making the Thunder work on the other end of the play, and it increases the pace, Jerry. Pace is so important to the Kings when they play fast.
Well, it really is. And, get some stops. It'd be nice to get a few more stops, get out in the open court. But to Grant's point, I think that is so key. Obviously, Sabonis and Fox have really turned the ball over way too much in the last several games. And obviously, they're going to make some turnovers because they make assists and they handle the ball. But you need that 2.5 to 3 ratio, and that just hasn't been there the last several games.
Domas has only had 1 so far tonight. That's good for him.
Yes, yeah, outstanding.
Outstanding. Yeah, if he can go through the second half, 1 more and say 3 or 4 more assists, and that's an outstanding effort.
Just keep in mind when this game labors into the fourth quarter, when you're getting Fox and particularly Fox and Sabonis and their minutes, mistakes, unforced turnovers, keep an eye on that here in the fourth quarter. That's the only thing, shouldn't say the only thing, but that's the one thing that does concern me. But we'll be here to talk about it, Rhino, after the game. Jerry, we appreciate you, and we will see you at halftime of the Minnesota game.
Yes, you will, and we're going to be really happy with the carryover from tonight's game. All right, so you guys get the job done tonight for a change.
We'll see what for a change. You're right, for a change. We'll do that. Again, everyone, enjoy the second half. We're back with you in a little more than 1 hour right here